Hey guys, Sovereign Jane Jenkins here, the author of P Policy. It's about setting boundaries and maintaining self-respect, a self-help book to elevate the consciousness of young women in society. So check it out. It is on Amazon, Kindle, and other online platforms. So today I want to talk about getting over the addiction of hopium. Okay? If you don't know what that is, have you ever sat back and hoped and wished and hoped again and wished something to happen, and you realize that after a while your heart begins to have a sinking feeling because you realize it's not about to happen, it's not about to come true. So your feelings are hurt and your heart becomes broken because it doesn't become true, and therefore you end up experiencing this continuous loop of hoping and wishing and hoping and wishing in order for it to never come to pass. So, and that's what happens a lot in relationships. So I'm going to talk about a personal experience that I have with hopium. Okay, let's go into it. So when I was a child and I found out that my father wasn't who I thought he was, I continuously called the person that I thought was my father until he picked up the phone. And I think about a year time passed, okay? And I had so much hope and joy in my heart when he finally picked up the phone, just to get a dry response and basically telling me, you're going to find out the truth one day, but it's not going to be today and it's not going to be for me, but you'll find out soon and you'll understand, and everything is going to come together before you know it. And just for him to hang up the phone, I went a whole year hoping for that call, hoping that he'll finally pick up the phone, just to be told that something happened and one day you're going to find out the truth. Like it's some mystical secret. And honestly, I thought he had been drinking. What is this man talking about? It must be one of them days, because I've seen him at his worst and I still loved him. But that's what you do when you have a parent that you've been raised by. You love them through their mess. So he found out that I wasn't his child. So he chose to stop loving me. But I didn't know yet. So I continued to love him and hope and wish and hope and wish. So then I become an adult. I experienced my first heartbreak. And I realized that this person who at that time I want to break up with because he disrespected me and dishonored me by cheating on me with the person he told me not to worry about. But it was the exact person I should have been worried about the whole time. And then once I tried to come around and come back, because I didn't realize how bad that soul tie was going to tie my spirit up with him and not allow me to move on, he basically tried to put me in a continuous loop of hoping and wishing and hoping and wishing. And I started listening to so many podcasts, so many people, so many reverends, coaches, spiritual leaders. And I heard somebody say, it was Bishop R.C. Blake's, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And I realized that that's the cycle that my ex was keeping me in. He would breadcrumb me, continuously text me when I think I'm getting over him, or I'm about to get over him, or I'm about to make a move, and completely cut off all ties. He would reach out to me in some form or fashion, or have his best friend reach out to me in some form or fashion to keep me tied in a continuous loop of hopium. So now I'm at a crossroads. I'm having to look at this person that's in front of me and accept them for who they are again. The person that broke my heart and cheated on me, I'm having to accept him for who he is and all his mess. But at the same time, I had to remember, this isn't my father. I don't have to accept this. I don't have to lean on hopium anymore because I'm no longer that broken little girl. It took me a year, maybe two, to truly get there, but I had to understand that these issues that kept occurring, these problems that kept coming up, was a result of the things that I had already experienced with my stepfather, and possibly before him when I was in my mother's sack, or my grandmother's sack when I was in my mother's sack. All the trauma my grandmother was experiencing, I'm being impacted because I'm in that same wound. Because trauma passes from generation to generation as well, because your grandmother is carrying you while your mother is in your grandmother's stomach. because women are born with their eggs and the amount of eggs that they're going to have throughout their life. So therefore, your precursor cell is already in your grandmother when your mother is in her womb. So you have to consider that the trauma and the hopium that you're feeling is 9 times out of 10 multifactorial. Okay? Don't you dare feel guilty for experiencing this and feeling like you cannot let go of somebody, especially if you see that they're trying to get you in a continuous trauma bond and cycle of hopium. Hopium is false beliefs. Hopium is fiction. Hopium is not going to last. Hopium is nothing but a sniff of something that you don't need. It is an addiction like every other one. And all it is triggering certain specific chemicals in your brain to fire. And when you realize that and understand that you can let go and get over that addiction, that's when your healing truly begins. And you realize that you're not falling for the same mess. You're not going to let anybody else trauma bond you to them. You're not going to let anybody traumatize you to the point to where you cannot let go because you're leaning on hopium and the thought that they could or would come back, or the children that you might have, and the vacations that you might have, and the wedding that you might have. Now you're looking at life differently because you're in full control. Now you're asking yourself, what do I, me, myself want as a single woman now that I'm in full control of my life? Because hoping is no longer a thing for me. Hoping and wishing is a fallacy. It's fiction. Don't look after nobody to make you run after what they're trying to sell you. Stop falling for the used car salesman tricks. You see, I already learned these lessons the hard way. I learned them with my stepfather. I learned them with my first relationship. So therefore, nowadays, when a guy tries to sow seeds of hopium in my garden, I laugh because I already got my shovel and I'm about to dig it up and throw it out back. And I'm not going to give it any water, any time, or any sun, because I only accept what is and what ain't. And if it ain't going to include me. And just like it shouldn't include you. And a lot of people look at that like that's harsh, but baby, hope is a fallacy, a falsehood, a waste of time, fictional. Don't let anybody string you along with hope. Only look at what they're doing and if it is substantiated by what they're saying. So you look for action and you make sure their words and their actions match. So when a guy tries to come at me, and I've learned these lessons twofold, trying to sell me hopium, I laugh because internally I know there's no way I'm falling for that again. I've seen it in different forms, but it's the same tactics. Whether it's used by a parent or whether it's used by a boyfriend or somebody who's just trying to waste your time. Learn to look for actions. Don't hope for nothing. Only look for the things that they're actually doing. What is. Not what ain't, but what is. And when you understand that this life is very short and you should spend so much less time hoping and wishing and going for things that you want and setting goals and self-actualizing, you don't even waste your time with hope. Hope is a thing of the past. We're no longer hoping, we are doing. And if you can't give the program, if you're trying to get in somebody's life, get back, get out the way. I'm busy doing, I'm not hoping. So yeah, if there's something that you're struggling on, such as hopium, get a coach, get a therapist, get a psychologist, get somebody to help you through it, because no, it's not easy. But as always, love always, Sovereign Jane Jenkins. Peace.